watch it.
Uh,
We're just
mm,
we're just at the beginning of the runway,
eh, because
and the reason I try to put it in context for everybody is that so that people
yes,
will not either will not take profits too early or will not
exactly. Now my concern is not taking profit late. I know that when we are there, you announce.
of course, when I think that it's time for everybody to start exiting their positions. I mean, for instance, when Crow was coming down, I mentioned it then that people should sell to USDT because I felt they were taking profits. So not only were major players taking profits, even CRO, the company themselves were taking profits on their CRO. So I didn't know it was going to be this long, but I knew that it was coming down. And when I made the call this morning, I checked. I saw that it's bottomed out. It's tried to engage the bottom for 2019, which was about the opening price, and it didn't succeed. So it was indication that it was going on. If you actually had bought yesterday when I initially saw it, it will be 15% up now. So we're just getting started. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Crypto Pulse Weekly. Um, it's going to be a short one today because I think the market is speaking for itself. We'll go through the usual stuff, but we'll talk about a number of things happening on the market and why we need to take our positions and take our positions early. I will also talk about my 6 picks for 2021, and I mean just to review what they've done so far as an example of what we're expecting to come. So let's get started. I hope to be very fast today. So in terms of market updates, if you don't know now, you know the bulls are out. The bull run is confirmed for Bitcoin. And if you ask me why, very straightforward. Last week we were talking about that the market was trying to test 16K. The week before we were talking about the market was trying to test 14K. Today we're talking about the market is trying to test 19K. It's already broken 18K. So um, in the last 24 hours, yeah, you could say in the last 24 hours, you've seen more than 3% gain on Bitcoin alone. So it's confirmed that we're in the bull run. The fact that we've broken all the barriers in terms of prices and the market has simply refused to back down is confirmation that there's a bull run. The next thinkable resistance in terms of price is 19,005. I expect that if it gets to 19,005, some people that has been holding their back since 2017 or 2018 will want to sell off. So there may be some retracement back to 18 or even lower. But definitely I expect some sell-off, either short term or medium term. Then if it breaks 19.5, of course, it will go to 20K, then it will come back. The reason it will come back is because everybody knows that 20K is like regarded as the all-time high holy grail. However, I don't expect that dip to be significant. And I'm going to explain why I don't expect the dip to be significant in the coming weeks and months. Obviously, we're going to see 20K before the end of the year or before the end of this month, as a matter of fact. We're just, am I saying, we are 1,005 shots or 1,400 shots as of right now. So it's obvious that 20K is inevitable. When I can't say, but it might even be over the weekend. But once we hit 20K, I expect that there'll be some sell-off and there'll be some consolidation before we continue to move higher. Generally speaking, in terms of regulation, everybody seems to be eyeing, crypto digital or central bank digital currency. They call it CBDC. So everybody seems to be eyeing that now. We expect that that will be a major theme in 2021 because there'll be a lot of noise about cryptocurrencies in 2021 for obvious reasons. In terms of sentiments, yes, we're in bull run. We're in extreme greed, but something of importance that you should note, and I will say this again, something of very significant importance that you should note. About the time that Bitcoin was this price in the last bull run, Google search for Bitcoin in terms of Google metrics was through the roof. Like it was all-time high. People are searching for Bitcoin like crazy. But right now, it's flattened out. There is no talk about Bitcoin. And I'll explain what that means in terms of sentiment. What that means is that this current bull run is not driven by retail investors. It's driven by institutional investors and corporates. And I mean, I have proof to back it up. And last week, I gave you a whole dossier of companies and banks and institutions that were positioning to either sell crypto, offer crypto services, or accumulate crypto as part of their treasury. So this current run is primarily driven by institutions because institutions have seen that, come think of it, this thing is a stable asset. It might do better than gold. It is more fungible than gold. It's more functional. You don't need to move it around with any stress. You can move it effortlessly. It's highly liquid. It's a good hedge against inflation. So institutions are beginning to put their eyes on Bitcoin, and that's why this bull run is not backing down. As you will know, in August 2020, PayPal came on board and said that they were going to be selling Bitcoin for their customers in the US first, then the rest of the world. That particular news took Bitcoin out of the dip of September. And then from then, it's been news after news after news. But what's more striking, and why I think that people should not think that this particular bull run will look like the last one, is because since PayPal announced in September, was it September or October, that they were selling Bitcoin to the guys in the US and that it was active on their app, there's been mad demand from PayPal customers, as in crazy demand. In short, currently they're about estimated 20 million per day in terms of demand volume. So the amount of Bitcoin that PayPal needs to buy to fulfill the desires of its customer is to the tune of 20 million per day right now. And they've not even done, I don't think they've done the first full month on this, and they're already doing $20 million per day in terms of the volume of purchase of people buying Bitcoin. Of course, what it means is that PayPal will always have to be buying Bitcoin literally every hour, because as long as customers are demanding to buy, they also need to provide them with Bitcoins to sell, because they can't give customers IOU. So understand that when customers buy or merchants buy Bitcoin from PayPal, they're buying with their fiat currency, and PayPal is just going to note that they have that amount of Bitcoin. But PayPal doesn't settle them in Bitcoin. PayPal will settle them in fiat currency. However, if PayPal doesn't buy Bitcoin immediately with the money that they get paid, they're exposing themselves to an inflationary risk. Because let's say somebody bought Bitcoin with PayPal at the beginning of October when Bitcoin was 11,000 and says, I need my equivalent back today when Bitcoin is 18,000. If PayPal doesn't buy that Bitcoin as of that day, then they have made a loss of $7,000. So naturally, it doesn't make sense. So every time a customer makes a demand on PayPal, PayPal is going to make a demand on the cryptocurrency market. So that's what's happening on the retail end. And it's going to continue because more people are more comfortable with buying stuff from merchants like PayPal. So the demand is going to continue. And as long as that demand continues on PayPal, the buying pressure is on. So the explosion we're about to experience in 2021 has too many fuel. I mean, too many. Imagine you put petrol, gasoline, aviation fuel, and butane in the same room with explosive. That's the kind of explosion we're about to experience in this market because the demand is unrelenting. And this Dex News explains it. Since the beginning of this year to the present moment, we now have over 842,000 Bitcoins held in corporate treasuries, which has never happened before. I mean, before this year, nobody was talking about Bitcoin as part of their balance sheet. But MicroStrategy was the one that Michael Saylor was the one that first came and said, you know what, this is tangible assets. We're going to be committing our funds into this asset and we're ready to hold for 100 years. We think it's going to perform better than fiat currency. And little by little, secretly or openly, everybody started, getting into the fray. Now we have about 20 publicly listed companies that are holding Bitcoin as part of their corporate cash and liquidity strategy. You all know what FOMO is. FOMO is fear of missing out. FOMO is now on the high because since MicroStrategy bought their 19,000 plus, and what's his name, Jack Dorsey's Square also came and said, we also are buying. All the guys that are secretly bought before have come out and have now come out to say, okay, we too, we are buying. This is how much it bought. So right now, these corporates already account for about 4.5% of Bitcoin in circulation. That's a lot because if you think about it, that there's only going to ever be 21 million Bitcoins. It's a lot for people to already be holding 4.5. And what's going to happen is once Bitcoin hits 20K, the escalation to 50 or 100K is going to be very fast because literally there will be no sellers. And if you remember what I showed you last week when I was saying that these are the guys that, as at September, had committed and said, this is how much Bitcoins we are holding. And the total of them was 785. Now it's 800 plus. Before you know it, you hear that 1 million Bitcoin is sitting in corporate treasuries. So if you have Bitcoin, hold it tight. If you have not Bitcoin, if you have any crypto, hold it very tight because you are not going to see it for a long time. If you have Bitcoin, go and lock it up. I have some that I've locked up, not many. Like I told somebody, you can buy as small as 50 pounds worth of Bitcoin. Or make sure you lock it up because it might be your retirement plan. Because there's going to only ever be 21 million. And no matter what the inflation is saying or what the world economy is saying, you can't improve the technology to mine Bitcoin. It will always mine at the same rate till all the Bitcoin is exhausted. So that finite supply is one to watch out for in driving the price of Bitcoin. There was a slide I wanted to show. I can't remember where I left it somewhere. It was a snapshot that was done by Citibank showing the projection of the price. I'm sure I lost it somewhere. This guy is the is the CIO of BlackRock's global fixed income. And on CNBC, was being interviewed today on CNBC, and they were talking about, you guys, you have some interest in Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And the guy said, you know what? I think Bitcoin is better than gold. Now, from what we've seen, you can't be carrying gold around to say you want to buy and sell. But Bitcoin, you can easily transfer it. He says he feels it's more functional and that their experience with younger investors show that they're more amenable to digital assets than, the traditional asset. And I think he's going to take the place of gold in the future. And apart from that, the traceability and the tracking that the blockchain provides makes it even a more solid asset than gold. Of course, BlackRock is one of the biggest investment companies in the world. So everybody's watching. And the companies that are yet to FOMO will join the fray very soon to increase the buying pressure. So it's just like somebody on this call was having a discussion with me before everybody else joined that he bought a particular token last week, and that was it last week, yeah, and that now it's doubled in price. It's done 100%. I said yes because, as I mentioned, that token is limited in supply, and that once volume starts to come in, automatically you can expect that the price will go up. So all in all, it's still good news. Like somebody was saying, as the bull run finished, I said the bull run's not even started. It's just on the wrong way. It's about to take off. That's where we are now was where we were around this time in 2017, towards the end of the last bull run. So we are not even gotten to the peak of the last bull run. So how can you say that the bull run has finished when we've not gotten to where we stopped the last time? So we're just going to the point where the last bull run ended, which is 20K. So when we get to 20K, then yes, we are fully stabilized on the runway and we are ready to take off. So, like I said to someone, I said, you know what? We can only see the beginning of this bull run. Frankly, I don't know what the end will look like, because this is an unprecedented, this particular bull run is an unprecedented one. So what happens before now, in 2016 and in 2012, was that anytime the rate of supply of Bitcoin drops because of the algorithm within the network, the demand automatically outweighs the supply rate, and then it causes the price to shoot. So in the 2012 bull run, Bitcoin before that time was in the hundreds. Bitcoin started selling in thousands. In 2016, Bitcoin was literally, in fact, at the beginning of that year, Bitcoin was probably like 2,000 or 1,005. And then it went from there by the end of that bull run to 20,000. So if you take by that same yardstick, you can expect that from the current 20,000 we are approaching, we are either going to be somewhere between 100 and 200. And, I've always said that, my projection is 100K plus by the end of next year. But now, the people that are more technical or that have more tools and more fancy technology than myself have come to say, you know what, we think Bitcoin is going to be doing like 300K plus by the end of next year. I projected 100K. I said, worst case scenario, I think we're going to do 100K by the next bull run. But I don't think the projection is haphazard, or I don't think it's absurd, because the last two bull runs, or the last two price hike that we've had for Bitcoin, has been largely driven by retail investors, meaning people like me who are working, technology geeks, programmers, some IT savvy investors who are just interested in investing in new things and are first movers. That has been the driver, the primary driver. And of course, people that are miners, that mine Bitcoin, those have been the primary drivers of the last two bull runs. But this one, like I said, the corporates are now here. And the corporates being here means that there are deeper pockets. Deeper pockets means that the buying pressure is higher and the buying rate is higher. So let's even leave the retail traders on one side. So we will have said that retail traders could have driven this market to like 200% of its total market cap on their own. But now you now have corporates. Corporates on their own are the ones that have more than 50% of the equities in the US markets, or global equities, not even US markets. So corporates on their own are now getting involved. Corporates generally, an example of a corporate is Tesla. Tesla's market cap is about the same capitalization as Bitcoin. So corporates have deep pockets. They have a lot of cash that they're not using, that are sitting in the banks, and they're thinking, this cash is depreciating year on year. What do we do with it? Now, people are mooting the idea that this Bitcoin looks like a good storage of value. Let's consider it. So when they start moving their cash into Bitcoin, I think 300,000 actually will be too small, because on the retail side as well, as I earlier mentioned, you have people like PayPal that will always keep buying. As long as their customers are buying Bitcoin from them, they will keep buying from the market. And you only can produce currently about 940 Bitcoins per day based on the Bitcoin network. So that demand is not going to be met. And because that demand is not going to be met, the price is only going to go higher. It's like I said, if you have cash in the bank and you don't buy Bitcoin, don't say I've not told you. I've told you. That's I've delivered my own part of the message, quote unquote. So yeah, and this guy was saying that the rise of Bitcoin is similar to gold, and he says that because of Bitcoin, we might see the rise of state-backed digital currency, which I call the CBDC, central bank digital currencies. This will probably happen in the next 2 years, because, for instance, the Committee of Central Banks are starting a pilot with the Bank of Japan in January 2021. Once they are done with that pilot and they are fine with it, many countries will start rolling over into digital currencies. When countries start rolling over into digital currency, then we are going to have a layer 3 demand on cryptocurrencies. You ask me why. central banks usually have currencies of their own country and currencies of other countries. In addition to that, they have storage of values like gold or silver or platinum as part of their treasury. When they see that digital assets are working, then they will start considering, why don't we also buy these cryptocurrencies that, that are storage of value to hedge our position like the corporates are doing. By that time, probably there will be no Bitcoin at all, because the central banks themselves might be trying to mine Bitcoin. I mean, I already reported here about 3 months ago that Iran central bank is buying Bitcoin directly off miners. And it's like clamping down on miners within Iran to say you have to sell your Bitcoins to us. So I expect that to happen in the next 1 to 2 years. So that's about that on general news on what's happening on Bitcoin. News very positive. Bull run is just getting started. If you collect bonus this year, please don't buy Ashwebi or anything. Just go and buy Bitcoin. If you can't buy altcoins, buy Bitcoin. You can thank me later. So on to Crypto Vital Signs, just to examine what's happening on the market as a whole. We always talk about our market capitalization charts that shows where we are. US equities market is still in the trillions. But luckily, this week, the cryptocurrency market capitalization crossed $500 billion. So cryptocurrency market capitalization is now $531 billion. It's only ever done this once, and that was around December 2017 to January 2018. So we're seeing that for the second time. Definitely, we're going to approach before the end of this particular bull run. I expect that we either be in the region of 1, 2, or 3 trillion in market capitalization. In terms of percentage altcoins, as you've seen, we have altcoins have done 186 billion, which is 14 billion gain over from last week. And the cryptocurrency market itself had gained about almost 60 billion in the last 1 week. As a matter of fact, in the last 2 weeks, the cryptocurrency market has gained $120 billion in market capitalization. So to look at our, where is this? Not this one. To look at our weekly and our daily charts, I need to bring up, where is this? It's probably hidden somewhere. I need to flick between this. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah, I decided to look at the live chat today to explain my points better. So this is the live chat for BTC USD. I don't know why I had the chart open before. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, I'll come back to the chart. So it's a chart for BTC USD showing where we are in terms of price action. Sorry. Something funny happening to this. I don't know what the problem is. Okay. So as you can see, we have crossed over $18,000 very comfortably in terms of price. And that's between last week and now, that's about how many percent now? It's almost 10% plus between last week and now. This is the weekly chart. So this is what I wanted to show you. I usually cut and paste this into the slide, but I wanted to show it live. So this is the weekly chart. This is Binance chart. So it has history up until August 2017. This was the peak of the last bull run, which was December and January. So this was December. This green was December. Then in January, it started to come down. So the highest peak, as you can see here, was 19,827 in December 2017. Right now, we are sitting at 18,595. And as I said, I think 20,000 is the next target. When we hit 20,000, I expect that the market will take some correction. But because there are too many buyers lining up, there'll be buyers lining up here at 16,000, and I'm sure there'll be buyers lining up here at 14,000. I'm not sure the market is going to go below. I don't think the market is going to go below 14,000 before it gets fully bought up again. If you go to the daily chart as well, it confirms the fact that, so on the weekly chart, just to explain, on the weekly chart, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, 7 weeks of continuous price increase in Bitcoin. So that's since the beginning of October. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Since the 5th of October, the beginning of October, the market has been going up progressively and has not backed down. You can see this week we started this week at 15,900, barely 16,000. And we're almost stretching 3,000 in 1 week. $3,000. That's massive. That's massive, like massive. So I expect that over the weekend, we'll probably hit the all-time high and break it, then come back and take some rest. But I don't think that rest is going to be long-lived because there's simply no Bitcoins to buy. There's simply no Bitcoins to buy. There was a news I didn't put here where they were saying that the amount of Bitcoins leaving the exchanges to decentralized wallets is at an all-time high. So people that have Bitcoin are withdrawing their Bitcoins from the exchanges and putting it in their quote-unquote colo to keep for future profits. So yeah, this is what it looks like on the weekly charts, and this is what it looks like on the daily chart. So I expect that at some point, when it hits the 19,000 or even 20,000, it will try to take some rest before continuing its upward journey. On the 4-hour chart, it's the same thing. It's just been going on. So yeah, it's been going on. It came down, I think that was earlier yesterday, but you can see this wicks that you see at the bottom that are going very long means that there's a lot of demand pushing the price back up, even on the red candles. That's what it means essentially. So that's what it is on the technical analysis, and we expect that, as I said, we expect the trend to take some rests in the next few days. If it doesn't take some rest, maybe just at least consolidate and go sideways. So if we were to take, where is that stuff? If we were to take Fibonacci levels on this particular one, we expect that, yeah, we'll expect that the market will hit 19,000 or 20,000 and back down to 16,000 before it takes any further continuation. So that's the view, technically speaking, in terms of Bitcoin. And one of my mentors will say, what is good for Bitcoin is good for altcoins. So to tell you about altcoins, when Bitcoin starts to move, after a while, altcoin starts to follow. So when Bitcoin gets pumped, quote unquote, like we just witnessed, or like I've shown you, where you're having a $3,000 gain in a single week, usually what then happens is people now use that Bitcoin to buy altcoins. So the altcoins prices start rising as well. And I think I can show you that. I can show you that actually if I search for Ethereum. Just like Bitcoin had done, that gained 3,000 in just the space of 1 week. Initially, Ethereum was behaving like if it wasn't part of the party, quote unquote. But now, give me a second. Now we've seen, sorry, excuse me. Now we've seen Ethereum go back to, so we've seen Ethereum go back to $500 from where it was, from where it was last week. So last week, Ethereum was actually going down last week at 440, 443. This week is done $60 already. And you can see that the charts on the weekly chart, it looks similar to the chart of Bitcoin, but it seems to be lagging behind. It's not taking that upward pull. Two things. Ethereum is the chief of altcoins, so Ethereum will always lag behind Bitcoin. Now, like I said, once people buy Bitcoin and Bitcoin starts to consolidate, they start to convert their Bitcoin into altcoins, then altcoin starts to move as well. So the price action that you've seen, and I'm going to come back to that, on altcoins is a result of the sustained pump that we've had in the Bitcoin markets. So in terms of where we are in our favorite psychology of the market cycle, we are here now. We've climbed the rally. The rally is real. We have climbed the hill of optimism. We can confirm that the rally is real. It's not fake. The rally is real now. We're on the runway, getting ready to take off. By the time we hit 20,000 and cross over 20,000, then we are fully in swing. And like I said to somebody earlier on, that don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that maybe you are selling too early. If you're afraid, sell like, if you've made 100%, you can sell half into USDT or Tether or any stable coin and look for opportunities to buy back or buy other coins. But don't be afraid of the profits that are coming, because the profits will be very maddening, to be honest. It will be very, very crazy. There are some coins that did some insane moves, very insane moves in the last bull run. And there are newer ones now that will probably do more. But fingers crossed. But so we're here at the end of optimism. We have crossed that hill of optimism, and we are sitting here right now. We are about to move into belief. By January, we'll be in thrill, because most people will be in profits. Point of note for people investing in or invested in Crow. Like I said, if you bought Crow when I called it this morning, yes, you'll be 10% in profits. If you actually bought yesterday when I saw it, you'll be 15% in profits. CRO, like any other crypto assets, is not a perishable good. So even if it's not appreciating, it doesn't spoil. That's why I said it's not a perishable good, as one of my friends would say. So you can't be afraid that it's going to, like when you say a stock is going down, and you're afraid that maybe the company will fold up and that stock will cease to exist. It happens in crypto world, but it's not as rampant, because anybody can just pick up that particular asset and start buying it. And once the price is going up, everybody will start joining in and trying to be a part of it. So the saying is, cryptos generally are not perishable goods. And because we're at the beginning of the bull run, so it's expected that all cryptocurrencies, regardless how worthless they are right now, they will generally pump and gain a lot of price. Secondly, and more importantly, we're at the cusp of the evolution of a new asset class, meaning that a new asset class is being created in our lifetime. And if you're an early adopter, you have the opportunity to make life-changing wealth over the next 12 months or 14 months or 16 months. So imagine somebody buying Apple shares or Tesla shares at 10p or $10 or even $1, and maybe you bought 1 million of them or 10,000 of them. That person could be close to a billionaire right now. So in the same way, many of these assets are seemingly next to nothing today. In a few years' time, they'll be so expensive. You're wondering, what are you thinking? The same way, a pizza, a tray of pizza costed how many bitcoins? Like 42 bitcoins in 2010. Yeah, it was 2010. 42 bitcoins. Imagine somebody paid 42 bitcoins for one pizza. That 42 bitcoins now. My math is not good, but you can do the math. 42 times 20. Bitcoin is going to 20K now. 42 times 20K. That's how much a pizza costs. So don't discount the importance of your crypto assets, no matter how small it is. It's better at the current rate. It's actually better than landed property when you consider a 10-year yield. So if you consider a 10-year yield of Bitcoin, if you bought Bitcoin at the beginning of the decade with, what am I saying? If you bought $1 worth of Bitcoin at the beginning of the decade, at the beginning of this year, when Bitcoin was 10,000, that dollar was worth 100K. Now that Bitcoin is approaching 20,000, that dollar will be worth 200K. So keep that in mind when you're, taking positions and buying crypto assets. So onto our greed and fear indicator. Like we have been sitting on extreme greed for a while now. So this is the last 6 weeks. We went from fear at the beginning of at the end of September to, I think, neutral. At some point it was neutral, then it was greed, then it was greed, then it went to extreme greed 2 weeks ago, then extreme greed last week, and it's still extreme greed now. The only difference is that the gradient has reduced. So the pressure was more 2 weeks ago than what it is now. So what it tells me is that there's still room to grow for greed, for more extreme greed. Like I told somebody that the person was complaining that, but that this thing is on 90. I said, but we've not reached 100 now, that we've not finished this kilometer. That when we reach 100, we can start coming back with that. I think frankly, just to keep everybody's mind at rest, I think what we'll see throughout these bull runs, you will see this go from extreme greed to neutral and back. That's the only thing that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to ever stay in the region of fear significantly. There might be price drops intermittently, but because a whole set of new investors are coming into the market, so there'll be unprecedented demand for Bitcoins, which, the corporates are already mopped up the available ones that are sitting on the ground. So it's only going to go up from here. In terms of sentiment and price, it's remained the same, except the daily has even corrected to buy. Last week it was strong buy, which was reflected by that fear and greed indicator as well. So it's the same story. The market is still seriously under buy pressure, and because of that, we expect that we're going to see huge movements in the months to come. I suspect that we might have consolidation for most of September, December, or depending on, there are two ways actually. We might have consolidation for people taking profits, some people taking profits for the year, and then reducing the buying pressure, or companies trying to warehouse their extra cash for the financial year. So it's a two-way thing. But I think we'll see some correction after 20K, as I said, before we see significant movement upwards. So in terms of our crypto drip today, two things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about these coins that I gave 2 weeks ago. And I think I repeated it last week. Was it last week I gave? I can't remember. I think it was 2 weeks ago that I gave these coins. And I wanted us to look at each of those coins. I will look for them now. So the first one was, if we go by the list, the first one on the list was, so we talked about Ethereum, we talked about Polkadot, then we talk about, so let's look at Ethereum, Polkadot, and Chainlink. So this is Ethereum here. It's gained 9.3% in the last 1 week. This is Chainlink here. It's gained 13.6% in the last 1 week. This is Polkadot here. It's gained 20% in the last 1 week. Where is Band and Wi-Fi? This is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi has done 80% in the last 1 week. If you're on the WhatsApp group, you remember I told you about Wi-Fi last week and 2 weeks ago, about how small the volume is and how rapid the price movement is usually is. This is Uniswap. It's done 31% in the last 1 week. So why do I bring those out? So those are the coins I mentioned. I don't know where Band is missing. But the reason I brought that out is to explain, to underscore the importance of the calls that I'm making, because these are very high utility tokens. They're high utility digital assets that you should have in your bag apart from Bitcoins. They are definitely going to return higher than Bitcoin. Like you saw, Wi-Fi did 80%. By weekend, it will have done 100% round trip. So, in fact, it's done 100%. If you bought it before Friday last week, it's done 100% already. So, it's important that you take notes of these tokens and these coins, and you make sure you have them. I can explain again what each of them is. So I broke them into 3 categories. You remember that day I said we had DeFi, we had oracles, and we had platforms. Platforms will be huge play next year because of mass adoption and because a lot of people will come into crypto. So platforms are going to be huge, generally speaking. And that's where Ethereum is the biggest platform till date. But we have people like Polkadot coming in the fray. And what they do is platforms allow the creation of other applications, crypto applications on them. And as long as you need to create those applications, you will have need of those platform tokens. So Ethereum is one of the biggest, if not the biggest so far. Polkadot is trying to follow in Ethereum's stead. We have a number of other ones, but these are the largest currently. And in terms of market capitalization as well, you could see that Polkadot's already huge on market capitalization. In terms of oracles are applications that help you to secure and to carry information to and through the blockchain to the outside world or to the outside networks. And Chainlink has been around for a while, and I think the solution is the most secure so far, going by what we've seen on the market. And I mean, there was a time that, some crazy guys were trying to badmouth them and encouraging people to sell out their Chainlink. And I told people then that the fact that some people sat down to write emails to badmouth them is evidence that token is going somewhere. And I think that at the minimum, I think that Chainlink will do at least 10x. At the minimum, I think Chainlink will do. It will probably, I mean, it do more than 10x. I'm just trying to be conservative, to be honest. I think Chainlink will do more than 10x from today's price. Currently, it's at 10. Yeah, that's about $14 now. I think we'll definitely do more than $100. Definitely. Some are projected that it could do in the next 16 months. It could do like $1,000, but I'm sure that it will do at least 100 plus. Definitely, I have no doubt about that. Band is a smaller solution. It's an upcoming artist compared to Chainlink. DeFi is decentralized finance. It's going to be a huge play also in 2021 because DeFi allows people to sidestep the banks and manage their own finances. It's a huge thing because this has the potential to knock out the banking system flat. And it's newer in terms of technological evolution on blockchain than the other ones. So DeFi plays will be very significant. So Uni and Wi-Fi are two pioneers. Uni especially is the pioneer, but Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is really small. I mean, total market cap is 30,000. Yeah, 30,000. So any small influx of money will automatically spike the price, and that's what's responsible for the 80% that you're seeing here, or the 100% that you're seeing in 1 week. In the same way, when the price drops, it can drop 50% in a day. But it's I like it because it allows me to make profits on trades. You can enter a trade and 2 days later you make 10%, 20%. So I like it for that. But as a long-term, play as well, very, very good and significant token to hold. So going into 2021, I would say, in addition to having Bitcoins, you should consider having these ones as well. As I told somebody, I think my retirement plan is now Bitcoin, and I'll keep buying till I stop working. Then we'll see where it gets us. So thank you, everybody. That's all I think I have for today. If you have questions, time to have the questions. Mr. Kunle Apara, you have a question. Kunle, do you have a question? I see your mic's on.
No, I don't have a question. I'm just logging in. I've been on the road since morning.
Oh, okay. No problems.
No
any other
questions.
question? If you're on Instagram and you have a question, just type in your question and I will answer your question.
Doc, thank you very much.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Actually, what you said about YFI is very true. YFI, I entered YFI with almost all the Bitcoin that I have with worth over $10,000. And the percentage that YFI has done, you don't see it moving up aggressively like Bitcoin does, but gradually it moves. And before you realize, you have made a very high percentage.
All you these people that are making money off Wi-Fi, you should pay me. Yeah.
I've been monitoring Wi-Fi for some time now, and I see that the percentage Wi-Fi does. So I have other altcoins, and I say, oh, okay, let me try and make some big money on Wi-Fi. Then I can take some of the profits into other altcoins. So, I mean, I think more than $10,000, I entered into Wi-Fi, and it has helped me a lot.
Nice. Yeah, it's Wi-Fi. I mean, Wi-Fi.
Wow.
I can't even, yeah, people have made. They've made 100%. I know somebody that's made 100% already.
I entered when it was 13.5.
Yeah.
I've made 100.
I've made 100 plus now. It's 29 now.
Yes, it's Monday. I've even made my 100 since Monday.
Wow.
And it's still there.
Wow. Musayo, please, can you send me your number? Can you send me your number privately? It's okay. Perhaps somebody's requested to join. Yeah. Okay, somebody requested to join the live session on Instagram. Yeah, you can accept the call.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Let's have your question.
I'm just listening to what you guys are doing. The learning profit, that's all they do.
Okay. That's good.
I would, if I need to discuss with you, I'll discuss with you outside.